Today is a big day for me. I finally saved up enough money to buy my dream house on Lake Champlain. I'm trying to get the best value for a waterfront house, but there are a lot of things I've got to consider as I make my decision. For instance, I would want to know about the local community I'd be moving into. How's the local health care system? What is there to do nearby for recreation? How do people feel about the community in general? Would this be a place that would be conducive to a healthy lifestyle? Would the school system be good if I were to have children someday? How far is it from Burlington Center? And how far is it from Canada? I need to find someone who can answer these questions. Now I'm going to go look for a realtor. Now I'm headed to the realtor.
Hi, welcome to Vermont Real Estate.
Thank you.
How can I help you today?
Well, I'm looking for my dream house. I was hoping you could help me find something in my price range with the amenities that I'm looking for.
Okay. And are you looking for a house on the lake or by the lake or just somewhere in Vermont generally?
I'm looking for a lakefront house. This is
Lakefront
my dream
house. Lakefront house, your dream house. Okay, that's exciting. Well, actually, I'll start by telling you about an interesting trend that we've only recently become aware of. We were contacted by some researchers at the University of Vermont. And it has to do with cyanobacteria blooms in the lake. Have you heard of cyanobacteria blooms?
No, could you tell me a bit?
Yeah, so cyanobacteria are also known as blue-green algae, and they are toxic bacteria, and their blooms have a number of negative effects that include negative health effects for people who drink infected water or for people who come into contact with the water through recreational activities. Also for the housing market, it's not particularly aesthetically pleasing. There are a number of other impacts. I'm not trying to scare you at all, but it's just something to be aware of. But interestingly, how this relates to property values is that cyanobacteria blooms seem to have a negative impact on the value of properties in areas that are experiencing higher levels of blooms. So that's just something to consider in the long run when you're looking at properties, and maybe something to think about when you're looking around the area.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So yeah, would you have anything in particular you want to look at?
Well, it seems like I've saved up my whole life for my dream house. I think I'm going to try to find one with good water, if that's okay. Do you have something I can look at?
You know, I actually do. I know of a place that's just down the street if you'd like to take a look.
Perfect, let's go.
Let's go. Hi, Jing. How are you?
Hi, good. How are
Good
you?
to see you. Good. This is Julia.
Hi,
She's,
Julia. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
She's looking to buy a house on the lake, and I thought I'd show her your property.
Oh, well, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would love to show you around.
All right, let's take a tour.
Okay, come on. So yeah, that's the whole house. What do you think?
It's great. It's so beautiful. I love it here, but I almost hate to ask. What are you asking for it?
Well, for a house of this size and this location, we're looking for $1 million.
Wow, $1 million.
I mean, I know it sounds steep, but it's really worth it. I mean, this is a prime location. Right next to the lake, you have a private beach, and have you seen the water here? It's crystal clear.
It's beautiful.
It's perfect for swimming and fishing, kayaking, anything you want to do on the lake.
Yeah, the water looks amazing. But I'm wondering, I keep hearing about some sort of algal blooms or something. Doesn't that worry you that it might come to this part of the lake?
Oh honey, I wouldn't worry about that. I know there's been all this scary talk of these algal blooms that are invading and they can kill your dogs, but honestly, I have so much faith in the Vermont government. I'm totally positive that we can implement some policies to clean up the lake, and if you just look around, walk around and talk to people here, everyone cares about the lake so much. It's such a part of who we are. I mean, I grew up on the lake, I raised my kids here, we have our family reunions here, my daughter got married on the lake, and it just plays such a big part in our lives, and we all love it so much that I think there's definitely enough support to go around to preserve it, so I wouldn't worry about it. And honestly, like, I for one would be willing to pay thousands of dollars a year just to maintain this, and everyone here cares just as much as I do, so I think this problem will be easily solved.
Wow, it sounds like the community is just really united around the lake.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful. And trust me, after living here for just a few years, you're going to feel the exact same way.
Wow, it's great. I'm gonna have to look around and do some more research about the area, but you'll be hearing from me.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, dear.
Now I'm gonna go check out the farmer's market. Time to take a break from the housing hunt and check out the local farmer's market. Excuse me, I'm looking to buy some fish. Could you tell me, is this fish raw, vegan, local, organic, non-GMO, and gluten-free?
Why, yes, it is, especially vegan. But there's something you should know.
What?
Well, the fish isn't as healthy as it used to be, especially now that it's the summer.
What do you mean?
Now, you know how there's these blue-green algae blooms in the lake every summer?
I keep hearing about them.
Well, they're low in essential fatty acids.
Like omega-3s?
Exactly. So when the blue-green algae bloom, it chokes out the other algae, which means there's less omega-3s for the zooplankton to eat, and that means there's less omega-3s for the fish to eat, and that means there's less omega-3s for us to eat.
Well, if it's not vegan and it doesn't have omega-3s, what's the point? Now I'm going to check out the local healthcare system. Excuse me, do you work here?
Yes, I do.
I was wondering, I'm thinking about moving to the area, and I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about the local hospital.
Yes. So this hospital is actually one of the finest in the nation, and every year we get a lot of patients who have Pseudomonas aeruginosa infections.
Well, what's that?
Well, so Lake Champlain is a big part of Vermont, and especially during summertime, a lot of people in Vermont go swimming inside the lake, and the lake has a huge problem of eutrophication, and since Pseudomonas aeruginosa likes to live with algae and cyanobacteria, and so when people go swimming in the lake, they get a lot of infections from Pseudomonas.
Do I need to worry about that if I'm swimming in the lake?
That's a good question. You can wear protective gears, but what Pseudomonas is that it is a very harmful bacteria. Actually, if you have a Pseudomonas infection, the symptoms are that you probably have swimmer's ears, and so if you can't hear stuff after you finish swimming, then it's probably a sign of infections, or if you have, let's say, headaches or respiratory tract infections, and that's also a sign of Pseudomonas infections.
At what point should I seek medical help?
You should seek medical help right after you have the infections, because Pseudomonas is also known as an opportunistic pathogen, which means that it likes to attack your immune system, especially when your immune system is weak. So it is to your benefit to seek help as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Hey, I saw you talking to that doctor. Can I tell you a little bit about the problems that can arise from hospitals such as these?
Sure, but who are you?
My name's Brett. I'm an activist promoting sustainable pharmacy and responsible pharmaceutical practices.
What does that even mean? All I do with pharmaceuticals is use them up.
Well, not quite. You see, most of the pharmaceutical products that a person ingests are excreted into America's wastewaters, and don't even get me started on the pharmaceuticals that people don't use. Most households often flush their pharmaceuticals or throw them into the toilet. Either way, they often end up in Lake Champlain.
What happens then?
The chemicals can have profound negative impacts on the wildlife, mutating and even killing things such as fish and zooplankton, not to mention the human impacts that they could have.
Such as?
Sometimes these chemicals can bioaccumulate, meaning we could be eating fish that have ingested pharmaceuticals from the water. Also, pharmaceuticals can alter bacteria and increase algal blooms, lowering water quality and the surrounding property values. It can even make bacteria like Pseudomonas that you were talking about more resistant to certain antibiotics if it's exposed for long enough. If water quality gets bad enough, people will never feel at home here around the lake.
Oh no! Well, what do you suggest we do?
If you have any unused pharmaceutical products, you should return them to what's called take-back event. There are national ones held twice a year, and there are often local ones depending on which state you live in.
Wow, gee, to think I never knew that. I'll have to keep that in mind if I move here.
You're welcome. Good luck with finding a house.
Thanks! Now I'm off to see the waterfront. Hey guys! I'm looking to buy a house on Lake Champlain. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Sure.
So what kind of things do you guys do around here for fun on the lake?
So one of the popular things to do here is fishing.
Oh yeah? How's the fishing?
Fishing here have changed a lot. I've been fishing here for a couple of years, and 1 or 2 years ago I can fish for a lot of fish here, but now I caught almost anything.
Wow, why?
I believe that is because of the causeway. It restricts the fish movement along the lake. So yeah.
That's interesting. Are there any other negative effects from the causeway?
Yeah, so actually we just simulated Missisquoi Bay, which is blocked by a causeway at the south end. And what we found was that the water level at the causeway was really the determining factor of the current and water height within the rest of the bay.
Why is that?
So what happens is this can sort of affect the mixing within the water within the bay, and the less mixing there is, the more prominent lake stratification is.
So what's lake stratification?
Lake stratification is when the water separates into two different layers, and the bottom layer is colder and more dense, and the top layer is warmer and less dense. And so because of their density differences, they don't interact with one another. And what can happen is, since they're not interacting, it sort of acts as a small barrier for any organism to get through if they're stuck on either layer.
Oh, well, what else do you do on the lake?
Swimming is pretty popular on Lake Champlain, but what you have to watch out for a lot recently is the zebra mussels.
What are zebra mussels?
Well, they're an invasive species, and they're really bad about cutting up people's feet and hands. A lot of people that you can see around here that like to swim a lot will either always have to wear shoes or you'll be able to see the scars.
Ooh, ouch. Are they everywhere?
Unfortunately, yeah, they're everywhere, but one of the places that people like to swim a lot is Mallett's Bay. There are a lot less zebra mussels there. The substrate there is a lot softer, it's a lot more muddy, and that's not as advantageous for the zebra mussels to thrive. The native mussels are a lot more prevalent there because they do like the softer substrate and they burrow down in, and they're actually good for the ecosystem.
And I don't need to worry about native mussels cutting my feet?
No, they actually tend to be a lot bigger, and they don't cluster up like a lot of the zebra mussels do. Zebra mussels attach to anything hard, whether it be just rocks, pebbles on the bottom even, or even native mussels. But the native mussels don't typically hurt because they're bigger and they don't cut you.
Maybe I should look at houses on Mallett's Bay. Well, thanks for helping me, guys. Have a great day.
Excuse me, can you help me hold this for a second?
Sure, what's that?
Well, this is a vertical toe sample for zooplankton.
Zooplankton? What are those?
Well, zooplankton are microscopic animals that are everywhere in bodies of water, and they're primary grazers.
Primary grazer? What does that mean?
Well, basically what it means is that these zooplankton eat phytoplankton and other nutrients, and then they're eaten by other predators, and these predators are eaten by bigger fish, and it ends up going up the entire food chain.
So what's the purpose of your research?
Well, basically, zooplankton are really abundant when we have really eutrophic water systems, and it's really important because the zooplankton help with water quality, and because they're primary grazers, they can help clear the water and especially help with its clarity.
Eutrophic. I keep hearing about that. So what are you finding?
Well, so far we haven't really found a difference from year to year of zooplankton, but normally on an average summer, we see like a typical pattern of 2 blooms of zooplankton. So in the beginning of summer, normally there's a lot of nutrients and other phytoplankton. So then, because zooplankton likes to eat them, there's a really big bloom in like end of May, beginning of June. And then later on in the summer, we see another small bloom because of nutrients and other phytoplankton blooms.
Well, that's really interesting. So what exactly will you be doing with the zooplankton?
Well, basically what I'm researching is I am looking at lake respiration, which is the input and output of oxygen in a lake. And I'm trying to figure out how much zooplankton takes part in this lake respiration. So I want to see how much zooplankton respires and its contribution to the overall lake respiration.
Well, thanks for telling me a little bit about your research. Do you need any more help?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.